What is up, Ape Army? We are the Great Canadian Apes.
Hey guys.
My name is James Marin.
Jim Marin.
And we are not financial advisors, so take everything we say with a grain of salt. So, today's highlights. Today's price action, including European markets. Options expiring November 26th. Price swing correlation with short interest reporting dates November 30th. Ortex data on short interest decreased substantially. NASDAQ's threshold list, Santa's naughty list, the T35 looming, news from Progendi's partner Ionis and Pfizer, and it remains a solid long-term hold.
For today's price action, Friday, November 26th, Prog opened at $3.54, down 21 cents over the Thanksgiving day, minus 6% in the pre-market. Rose to a high of $3.78 at approximately 10:30, and in around 10:30, often they just jam it down to like 10:30, and so that's just almost like a daily thing to watch for.
Seems like it, yeah.
There is a low of 344 and closed at 364. Volume very low, just over 20 million for this half-day session. Over with our good friends in Europe, in Germany, they opened at 322 euros. They had the high of 322, low of $3. It was currently trading at 316. Options expiring today, November 26th. Take a look at this. So, again, earlier we were saying you really have to watch the hedgies because they just screw around with this price so much. In the long term, it's a great company and it's generally going to grow. You can see that pattern, which we'll be getting to shortly. But in the short term, they can play with this price just a lot.
Yeah, especially because the SEC just doesn't do anything, right?
The in-the-money contracts, only 1805. So for 180,000 today. Out of the money contracts that they got paid all of the premiums to be able to bulk up their artillery was 5.3 million, with 53,000 contracts falling out of the money. So hedge fund companies made millions today off the out of the money calls and likely in the money puts. So be careful of buying options. Consider LEAPs, which are long-term equity anticipation options, which expires longer than 1 year. So mine that I picked up a couple weeks ago, they're still doing fine. They're not as high as they were earlier in the week, but they're not expired, and they're sitting pretty good. Short interest reporting. So FINRA requires firms to report short interest positions in all customer and proprietary accounts and all equity securities twice a month. All short interest positions must be reported by 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the second business day, so a T+2 system after the reporting settlement date designated by FINRA. So here we see the last couple months as far as the settlement date, the release date. Notice that it releases about 10 days later. And so we just got this report in yesterday of 16.86 million shares short. The reported shares are down 5 million from where they were before. And the percentage free float is down to 13%. We used to see numbers in the 20%, 30%, but these are adjusted to allow for that increase in the free float numbers that we saw over the last week. Now, with each of these, price increases have been seen just after the last 3 of 4 settlement dates. Now, the next settlement date is Tuesday. So, to be able to take a look at what happened. So, here we see a pattern of a low on coming up to the settlement date. Short interest numbers need to be sent to the SEC 2 days later. Next reporting date is November 30th. So, we take a look here that on September 30th, they opened at $1.23. They reported 8% short. 2 days later, it rose 78% to a high of 220. Then we've got this slow decline. The patents came in. Then we had slow decline again to the next reporting period, where we opened October 15th at 212. And reported short interest was 18%. 2 days later, we get an increase of 67%. Now, a couple things were going on there because you had a lot of in-the-money calls happen.
For sure.
So that was a sweet deal as well. But again, it coincides with this 2 days after the reporting period. Then we had this decline went up.
That's actually when I first saw it on Reddit, and that's when the community really started building, I think, was in around that time.
We saw some exponential growth right around there because people were seeing that it's gone up from 86 cents on September 30th up to the solid 2s and 3s with a really good company with room to grow. So we saw that increase, and then steadily over here. Now, October 29th, it opened at, so this is the anomaly for the trend, in that it opened on October 29th at 377. We didn't see this big jump 2 days later. In fact, we saw it kind of consolidate. It was in around minus 8% at the 350. But on that date of October 29th, it's like, what do we do with all these now? Because it's like, we've got too many. We can't report this many. They had 6 million failed to delivers from October 29th.
That was the boom boom yellows that we saw. You know what I'm talking about?
So that might have something to do with that not going up as much, the 6 million reported to deliver. It then suddenly, we saw an increase. And then through other factors, positive news, positive FOMO, positive investor sentiment. And then as we approach this next settlement date, November 15th, went down to 305. 2 days later, goes up to 620. Now we see this steady decline down to where we are today at 365. We're still on an increase all the way through within this channel. But
it looks great long term for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And who knows what's going to happen on Tuesday?
Yep.
Because if we're able to keep within this channel, and we currently are still within this channel, then this trend, this upward trend, and this big bounce after the settlement date, we might just have something after Tuesday still for the little bit of an increase as we see in 3 out of the 4 times after the settlement period.
Yep.
Because they screw around with the stock all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But eventually they've got to report to their dad or mom, FINRA, every 2 weeks. So they can throw things under the rug. They can not clean their room. They can do all these different things, all these shenanigans. But then every 2 weeks, they got to report. And after every 2 weeks, it went up. It went up. It went up.
Watch out for that, for sure.
Watch out for that date. Ortex data, we still see a $6 price target with potential return of 60%. Taking a look at the short interest data, went down by another 5.6%. Return shares, 4.4 million. I really do think that all of these return shares are because they do believe it's a good company. They don't want to get caught their shorts with their pants down and it being, upwards of double digits.
Yeah.
Upwards of $20, $30, $40. Look at AMC; it's up at $40. What are the people that shorted it at 2s and 5s? What are they doing? They're still bag holders. Like, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
And so they did return those. They did borrow another $3 million, and the current utilization is still high at 99.35. The cost to borrow average is still high at an average of 67%. Shares on loan is posted at 25 million. Percentage free float on loan is down to 20%. Estimated short interest of free float is down 9%. Take a look at the short squeeze leaderboard. I mean, there's 5,000 companies out there, but we got to tell the good news with the bad. And Progenity is down at number 66 right now with an 84.41 score. So fell to number 66. It closed at $3.65, down 2.3 on the day. Ownership, insider, and office accumulation score is quite high. People inside the company are not selling. They're, within the top 5% of companies out there for insiders owning the company. We've got short interest of shares availability. There's 1 million available right now.
Wow.
So that's huge compared to what it was before.
For sure.
Short borrow fee rates down to 54%. We've got the dark pool. It's still trading at double.
Yeah.
What it should be trading with the 48%.
Honestly, for me, guys, I'm not going to, bullshit you and say, oh, this is going to squeeze 100%. From the numbers right now, this is more of a long-term hold for me now. They manipulated the stock. Unfortunately, they can get away with illegal things. I guess they're telling us to be criminals, like I was saying. Criminals get away with shit, and we're the ones lumping it, right? So I don't know. I'm not saying to protest or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but not on Wall Street. Don't occupy it. But yeah, unfortunately, we can just get screwed over a lot as retail investors.
And as the earlier video that we put out, right at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, then they hammered AMC, GME, Bed Bath Beyond,
Aurora,
anything that did really well the previous 2 weeks coming up, and so there's that great price surge for the in the monies. They must have just crumbled. And they it was huge. In one day, everything goes down by like 20% because all retail left. It was ridiculous. A ridiculous article out there by Bloomberg and many others. Yes, there was something that happened from the Fed rate at 10. I think that was a bit of a smokescreen because at the end we didn't really hear a lot about that.
Also, Apple, look, it went down for like 10 minutes and then was right back up. If you take a look at it,
and even Tesla that day went down, and maybe it was because of that. These are major threats to the Citadels and others, and I think they were at their breaking point, and they had to do some real shady shit this week. Right now, they're getting away from it. They're getting away with it, but because this is a good long-term play, then we're able to have that long-term play still.
Okay, so speaking about long-term play, there's actually some great news for Progendi. If you take a look at this article, and this from April 6th, I believe, 2021. So Progendi and Ionis Pharmaceuticals entered into an agreement to evaluate Progendi's ingestible oral biotherapeutics technology for delivery of antisense therapies. So, what is the big news about this? So, if you take a look at this, if you go over here, Ionis announces that Pfizer reports top-line results from phase 2b clinical study of I'm not even going to try to say that. So the study met its primary endpoint, achieving statistically significant reduction in non-high density cholesterol compared to placebo at all doses tested. Key secondary endpoints were met, including statistically significant reductions in triglycerides and angiopoietin at all doses tested. Pfizer is continuing to review the findings to determine next steps regarding future development. So that's some great news for both Progendi and Ionis, as they are both together in this project. So just wanted to throw that out there. They're a great company, right? They're going to be helping millions of people. We saw that. Humira, we might have the partnership rumored November 30th. It's not 100%. What's really cool too is I was taking a look at this because I found it through Twitter. They are looking for a vice president of technical operations, which is basically the responsibility is going to be creating a value creation business strategy for novel drug device combination products, oversees program-based activities and functional areas such as MFG quality, manufacturing, quality, supply chain, and device development. So they might start manufacturing this, right? Leads development and implementation of CMC strategy from early clinical CGMP manufacturing through to later clinical stages and commercial production. So that's awesome to see right there. They're ready and they're looking for somebody to start this going, right?
And so obviously this isn't going to happen overnight. It's not like it's going to change things next week, that sort of thing. But again, it just shows that nice long-term growth for this emerging pharmaceutical company.
100%.
Prog's still on the threshold list since October 20th. Latest report has 6 million failure to delivers, totaling 22 million as of October 29th. Now, the next report due is going to be interesting. That's going to be out Wednesday, December 1st. And to take a look at that list, we see them again right here. That's going to be interesting because the report comes out on Wednesday, December 1st. And that's going to be coinciding right with that settlement date for them. We saw many nice increases right at that settlement date. And it's going to be interesting to see how many failure delivers they had up until November 15th. It's not going to show past November 15th, unfortunately. We don't get that data until December 15th. But just some news to come for mid next week, what's going on with that. Today's highlights, price action going down about 2.5%. Options on the 26th, you really have to watch those because, and watch for the short-term ones. It's like they make so much damn money. They took so much money from me in AMC after it ran up. It's like, okay, they dangle this, and so you buy into it, and so you got to really watch those heavy premiums because it goes to the hedgies. A lot of times there's a price swing correlation within the short interest reporting dates, and the next one's coming out on Tuesday. Vortex data on short interest decreased substantially, so we fell from like number 2 on the short squeeze list down to 66. Still out of 5,000, so it's still there.
But what I don't get really is how it was a minus 15%. And they said that on Wednesday, and it's a T+2. I didn't see any price action to indicate that on Monday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's just weird for me. I don't know.
Yeah. They keep on having all this fudge data, apparently, and then they've got to report every 2 weeks to mom and dad, to FINRA, and they need to be as clean as they can on that date, even though they throw in the failure to delivers. But yeah, I didn't see any big price increase on Monday to say that, 5 million short.
That's nuts, though. They know all the data about retail investors, even to the second where they can put their orders in just a second ahead of ours, and they know what our order is going to be, so they get the better price. And we don't even get to see what they're doing for 2 weeks.
I know.
What is that transparency?
So it remains a solid long-term hold. And in the short term, what a ride. Oh, my God. You stay away from those options, especially the short-term ones. Not financial advice, but it's volatile right now.
Best of luck, guys.
Best of luck. Absolutely best of luck, because I'm myself, I'm sticking with this. I
am too.
There's so much crap going on with the shorts and failure to deliver lists and all that sort of stuff. There's just something up with this company. Yeah. So guys, happy Thanksgiving again.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
From the States. And keep on.
Keep on riding. Not financial advice.